Good to go. Lovely, lovely. All right, as I said yesterday, we had a few errors here and there, but good news is none of that matters because if you can understand what I'm about to show you here today, this business is the most profitable thing that you will see in decades. And it's where all the smart money goes. But as I said previously, this was only available to a select few. And because of AI, it is now possible for all of you, okay? By the end of today's session, I'm gonna eliminate every doubt you have about your ability to land shadow operating partnerships, and you will have the exact plan to go from zero to your first shadow operating partnership. I'm going to show you exactly how to find the right creators, not just any creators, how to approach them so that way they're excited to work with you, why they will say yes even if you're a complete beginner, and the biggest mistakes that could cause you to fail, so that way you can avoid them. And if you attended our session yesterday, you also saw the special offer that we made, and it is insane to see that inside of Monetize we have clients who are already landing their first shadow operating partners already in the first week of January. Just like Kim here, who literally just posted that he made his first $2,800 with shadow operating. Look, it's what I said yesterday. While 99% of people watch from the sidelines, the 1% that will make 2026 the greatest year of their lives are already taking action. And if you've been interested in what I showed you yesterday, chances are that you are gonna love today's fast action time limited bonus even more than the one we shared yesterday. But you can be the judge of it when we show it to you later. All I can say is I might have gone overboard with today's bonus because people have paid millions and millions of dollars for it. This bonus is something that we are only going to make available for the people who have already signed up for Monetize, and the people who sign up for Monetize before the end of today's presentation. So if you join Monetize already, congratulations, you will get airdrop this. And if you join before the end of today's session, you will get this massive, massive bonus that people have already paid millions of dollars for. So to end, as usual, at the end of today's live training, we are going to have a more informal session answering all of your questions with my very special co-host, Jason Fladlin. My main focus here today is to help you close your first shadow operating partnership, okay? Jason, just to give you a bit of context, he's been in this industry for 20 years at this point, and he sold over 100 million via shadow operation during that time. But let's get to that all in due time. Before I tell you what to do, let me first tell you what not to do, okay? Because here's the thing, there is nothing I can tell you that will 100% guarantee success. That's just the nature of anything you do in life. But there are a few things that you can do that will 100% guarantee failure. More specifically, 3 deadly mistakes that most people make when trying to close their first shadow operating partnership. And if you make one of those, you are not going to get that first yes that you are looking for. And by far, the main reason people fail and give up on this business, which I consider to be the best business model for 2026, is simply because they can't seem to get that first yes. So if we can eliminate the top 3 reasons why most people fail here, well then don't you think your odds of succeeding would increase exponentially? The truth is, with business, you just need a business that allows you to fail for a long enough time without burning through all of your savings or running out of tries. And that is exactly what shadow operating allows you today to do. You get unlimited tries. And if one doesn't work, that's fine. Nothing happens. You are still in the game. The only way to fail with this business is if you stop trying. So if we can stop these 3 deadly mistakes that make people stop trying, are you willing to give it a try? If that's the case, well then perfect. Now, not only will we eliminate these 3 mistakes, but I'm also going to show you the 3 shadow operating partnership principles you need to follow to close your first shadow operating partnership. Finally, once you understand all of those, I'm going to give you the 30-day roadmap on exactly what to execute over the next 30 days. And I'm going to show you what is possible to achieve with this business, short, medium, and long term. Now, let me know if you are ready by typing a yes in the chat. And I will have a nice sip of tea. All right, seems like you guys are fired up. Okay, look, the number 1 mistake, okay, is going after the wrong creators. Here is a rule of thumb. We already talked about this briefly yesterday, but you do not want to go for the creators with 1, 2, 5, 7 million followers. Those are not the creators that we are looking for here. 2 years from now, when you've been doing this for a while and you've done 10 or 20 partnerships and you become really good at what it is that you are doing, that is a different story. Then you can go for these big creators. But now, when you are first starting out, they are a no-go, okay? I see a lot of people doing this because it looks impressive, right? And in their minds, a bigger audience equals bigger money. At least that's what they think. Now, you're gonna see in just a second why that's not actually true, okay? Here's why this is a bad idea. These creators have products, they have teams, they have existing partnerships, they have a whole operation in place already. Now, this situation is drastically different when we're talking about micro creators. If you paid attention to yesterday's session, micro creators are people with 10,000 to 100,000 followers. Let's say you're reaching out to one with 40,000 followers. A creator with 40,000 followers in general has no team, no partnerships. They get maybe 5 to 10 DMs a week about business inquiries, if even that, by the way. And most of them are simple sponsored posts, and they simply don't know how to monetize properly. And they are desperate to make more money from their following. They have no operation. Do you understand the difference? And that leads us directly to our next mistake, believing that you need to improve what they are currently doing, okay? Here's why this is a completely wrong way to think about things, okay? This is the biggest mental block I see, and is actually fucking up with people's ability to actually take action. People think, how can I improve what they have? The answer is, you are not improving anything, okay? They have nothing. There's nothing to improve on. Think about it like this. Let's say you meet someone who's been sleeping on the floor for years, and you're sitting there, anxious and nervous thinking, well, how can I give them a better mattress than what they currently have? But you need to understand, they don't have a mattress. They're literally sleeping on the floor. So even if you give them a mediocre mattress, like a 3 out of 10 mattress, that is infinitely better than sleeping on the floor. These micro creators, they're basically sleeping on the floor, okay? They have no digital products. They have no launch strategy. They have no monetization system, and they have no way to make real money beyond brand deals. So when you come in with your game plan, your product outline, your launch sequence, when you come in with all of that, even if it's a 3 out of 10 operation, that is infinitely better than what they have right now, which once again is nothing, okay? The anxiety of why would they trust me to do better than they're currently doing is a non-existent problem because they are not doing anything. So literally anything is already better than what they have. Do you understand how this mental shift completely changes how you approach this partnership? Can you at least grasp the idea that you don't need to improve anything? Because if you can get that, you can close a partnership. Now, our final mistake here is trying to sell these creators into partnership as if you're pitching them to become your clients. That is the completely wrong approach to what we are doing here. You see, when it comes to closing shadow operating deals, there is no selling involved, okay? At no point in time does the creator need to pay you a fee or a retainer. And because there's no payment involved, there's no need to sell them anything. Here is what you need to understand. These creators have a problem. You have a solution. The only thing you need to do is figure out if this solution you have can actually help them. What we're doing here is pretty similar to basically what a doctor does. A doctor isn't trying to sell you medicine. A doctor talks to you, they diagnose what your problem is, and they prescribe a solution. And the solution doesn't necessarily include buying medicine. Just like in our case, our solution does not include the creator having to spend a single cent to get this running. All you need is their commitment to post the stories that you are actually going to create for them. Okay, and you need to understand they're already creating or already posting these stories, I should say. You just need their commitment to be a little bit more strategic about the stories that they are posting for that 14-day sequence. That's it, okay? It's like offering someone a GPS when they're already driving to a destination. Listen, they're already making the trip, okay? You're just helping them make it a little bit more efficient. All you need is their commitment to follow the turns. That is what we're doing here. When you have a clear niche, a painful problem, and a valuable solution, you don't need to sell them because they are already sold on it in the first place, okay? And I'm gonna show you how to dial in these 3 elements in just a second. But for now, just think about it. If someone is bleeding on the street, do you need to sell them going to the hospital? No, that's obvious. Your job isn't to convince them that they are bleeding. Your job is to show them that you have the ambulance. If we bring it back to creators, these micro creators, they are bleeding. They are working full-time jobs while building audiences, getting 2 to 5 sponsorship posts per month at like $250 a pop, okay? Spending 20 hours a week creating content for a few $100 a month and then watching their followers grow while their bank account stays flat. The pain is real, like genuinely real. I've talked to hundreds of these creators and they are all going through the same thing. They already want a solution to their problem. You can clearly see in the dozens of DMs that I've been getting from creators. Notice the wording. I'm struggling with monetization. I would like to partner with someone to help me build out my digital ecosystem. Or things like, oh, I just want to focus on content, not on back-end stuff. They are already convinced that they need help. You just need to show them that you understand their problem, show them the opportunity they're missing, and show them that you have a system to put into practice, okay? So those are the 3 biggest mistakes: going after the wrong creators, thinking that you need to improve what they have, and lastly, trying to sell them. You shouldn't do that, okay? Avoid those 3 things, and you're already ahead of 90% of people who try this. And I am not exaggerating. Most people fuck up at least one of these, usually all 3. Do you think that you could avoid these 3 mistakes now that I have laid out clearly to you? If you can, congratulations. You are already 90% of your way to your first shadow operating partnership. So let me show you what to actually do. Now, before going any further, there's one thing I want to address because I know exactly what some of you guys are thinking. You're thinking, hey man, this sounds all great, but let's say for example, my Instagram, it looks like garbage. How am I going to reach out to these creators like this? I don't have nice pictures. I only have 42 followers. My last post was from 2019. How would any creator take me seriously? And look, I get it. This is probably the number one concern I hear from people getting into shadow operating. So let me break this down for you because here is what you need to understand. You are not trying to become an influencer. You are not trying to impress them with your social media game, okay? Think about it like this. They are dying of thirst in the desert, okay? And someone shows up with a bottle of water. Are you going to complain that the bottle of water doesn't have the best packaging? Are you going to ask, excuse me, was this water sourced from the Himalayan springs? Or is this, I won't drink this because this is plastic and this isn't from a bottle? No, okay? You're going to say, thank you, give me the water. That is the position you're in as a shadow operator. These creators are desperate for monetization, okay? They're struggling to turn their following into real income, and you have the tools to solve their problem. They don't care if your profile picture is from 5 years ago. They don't care if you have 12 followers. In many ways, not looking buttoned up and professional on Instagram is actually your advantage. Why? Because you're a shadow operator, okay? You're meant to stay in the fucking shadows. You're not meant to compete with them, okay? If you have only a few followers and you aren't very active on Instagram, it means you're not trying to, become some influencer, some TikTok dancing monkey, okay? It means you're not trying to steal their followers or overshadow them, okay? You are there to make the money, okay? That's it. And if your Instagram profile screams, oh, I'm a marketing expert with 50,000 followers, that might actually intimidate them, okay? They might think, why does this person even need to work with me? But when you show up as someone with a modest profile who clearly has the determination and the tools to help them, that is a perfect combination. You're non-threatening and you are valuable, and that's exactly what they're looking for. Now, does this mean that you should have a profile that makes you look like a complete fool? No, of course not. If your picture profile is blurry, maybe update it. If your Instagram says something weird or outdated, maybe clean it up. We're talking about basic stuff here. Look, this is basically an example of what good enough is, okay? A clear profile picture. It doesn't need to be a professional headshot, by the way. And a simple bio that says something like helping creators monetize their audience, or even just your name and what you are interested in. That's it, okay? You don't need thousands of followers, a highlight reel of achievements, perfect pictures, or verification badge. None of that matters. What matters is the value that you bring to the table. What matters is the game plan you bring to them. If your monetization game plan is on point, they will respond. I have seen people with less than 100 followers land 15,000 partnerships. Why? Because the creators saw the value in what it is that they're offering. Not the packaging, the value. So stop worrying about your Instagram profile. Stop letting that be the excuse that holds you back. The message is more important than the messenger. And if you follow everything I'm teaching you here, your message is going to be impossible to ignore. So let me ask you, does it make sense to you that people with less than 100 followers have landed $15,000 partnerships because the value of their monetization game plan was simply impossible to ignore? Doesn't that then prove that the message matters infinitely more than your follower count? So are you really going to let something as trivial as your Instagram aesthetic stop you from helping creators make money and earn life-changing income yourself? I'm sure you won't. Now, moving on. Now that you understand the 3 partnership killers, okay, we can move on to the next thing. This is the exact system we implemented with all of our clients inside Monetize. It is very simple, okay? Step number 1, avoid the 3 partnership killers. Step number 2, follow the 3 partnership principles. Step number 3, implement the 30-day plan. Now, I'm gonna show you these 3 principles in detail, and when you implement them, you're gonna see a dramatic improvement in the number of yeses you get from creators, sometimes even within your first few attempts. Now, for some people, it happens in their very first contact after sending the game plan. For others, it might take 2 or 3 positive responses from the game plans. But here is what I can promise. If you follow this system exactly as I show you, you will close a partnership, okay? It is just a matter of when. It might take a few days, it might take a few weeks, it might even take a couple months, okay? But I've yet to see someone who is stuck at this for more than 6 months and hasn't closed a single partnership, as in a person that's really, truly committed to it, okay? The system works. Your job is not to figure it out. Your job is to follow the system, okay? Can you follow simple step-by-step instructions? If you can, congratulations, you can succeed with this, okay? And not only can you succeed, you will close your first creator partnership with this. So let me go ahead and show you partnership principle 1 after I enjoy a nice sip of tea. So The first time I actually came across this principle was actually in an online program called Consulting Accelerator. You may have heard me talk about this program before. For those of you guys that don't know, Consulting Accelerator is a legendary business program that's helped more than 20,000 people start online businesses. It's created 52 millionaires, hundreds of six-figure earners, and over 620 million, or actually outdated numbers, actually 690 million, I should say, in earnings from clients that went through it. It is probably the most successful business training program ever created. And I went through it myself back in the day. And a lot of the principles I teach today come from what I learned in that program, because shadow operating is the new evolution of what consulting was back then. So a lot of those same principles apply to what we're doing here. And one of the most powerful frameworks from Consulting Accelerator is what's called the perfect storm of variables. It all stems from the idea that it is hard to be good at a range of things, but it is surprisingly easy to be great at one thing, which matches perfectly with the rule of one, the theme so far of our workshop. Okay, so let me show you how this framework from Consulting Accelerator can help you nail down the one thing that you can be great at and get paid very handsomely for. The framework from Consulting Accelerator teaches you three things that you need to align: industries or markets you know or are interested in, the market's needs and desires, and the skills you have or can easily attain. And here's where these three things overlap. That is your gold mine, okay? So here's how you apply this to create the exact positioning you need to close your first shadow operating deal. First question: what type of creators do you already know or follow? For example, fitness creators, parenting creators, finance or investing creators, career or productivity creators, relationship coaches, food or cooking creators, beauty or skin creators, mental health or therapy creators, okay? Right now, grab a pen and paper, write down 5 different types of creators you either follow and are interested in or have some connection to. Write them down. Please do not overthink it. Could be anything. Got it? Good. These are the industries that you know, our first circle. Now we go to the market's needs and desires. This is the most important variable. A massive breakthrough for me when I went through Consulting Accelerator was when I understood this. The market's needs matter than your own skills. Let me repeat that. The market's needs matter more than your skills. Most people think the most important thing is their skills. And that is why some people go to university for 10 years, collect minors, majors, masters, PhDs, you name it. And yet they're still broke. Why? Because the market doesn't care about your qualifications. The market doesn't care about your skills. The only thing the market cares about is solving their problems. Now, this made me understand that if you don't have a skill, it doesn't matter. You don't need one to succeed here, because the most important circle in our framework here is what does the market need? For micro creators, the needs are: they need to monetize their audience, they need products to sell, they need a launch strategy, they need to escape the sponsorship hamster wheel, and they need consistent income, okay? This need is universal across all micro creators, and that is why this model works so well. Every creator with 10 to 100,000 followers has the same core problem. I have an audience, but how do I turn it into real money? And here's where most people get stuck. They think, but I don't have the skills to help creators monetize. And you're right to say that. You see, one of the best pieces of advice I got from Consulting Accelerator was you don't need to have all of the skills already. You don't need to find a niche. All you need to do is find a niche, find a painful problem, and then you acquire the least skills necessary in order to solve it. Now, the problem is, historically, acquiring these skills would have taken years, okay? Copywriting, product development, marketing, it would have been a lot of work for you to learn everything yourself. But today, we live in a very different environment, okay? You don't need to learn the skills anymore. In fact, it would be dumb of you to spend months or years trying to figure out how to do this yourself, because you can get it all done for you with specialized AI tools. The tools give you the skills. They do the work for you. So that way, you're not having to acquire the skills through years and years of study, okay? You are leveraging specialized AI to do the work for you, okay? Just like you don't try to learn how to cut your own hair, because why would you learn how to cut your own hair? It's not worth your time. And by the way, you would never do it as well as a professional. So what do? You go to a barber. The difference here is that you don't even need to hire someone to take care of this task. You just get the AI to do it for you. Do you see how through the use of specialized AI, you can now offer this to these creators, and you can offer them the exact solution to the problems that they have? So that way, when you align the right type of creator, the universal need, which is monetization, and the right AI tools that do it for you, you have what Consulting Accelerator coined as the perfect storm of variables. And when these 3 variables come together, nothing can stop you. It becomes virtually impossible not to make money. So right now, you already know exactly what type of creators to reach out to. You already have a list of 5 different creator topics that you're familiar with or you're interested in, and you understand these micro creators' universal needs. Now, you also know how to use specialized AI tools to do the specialized work for you. So you basically have the perfect alignment between the three circles, meaning you have all the raw materials that you need to succeed with this. So what's missing? Putting them into praxis. So let's talk exactly about that. How to actually reach out to creators, okay? This is the second principle, and this completely changed my approach and the way I looked at outreach, okay? Because it got me to understand that outreach starts way before you ever send any creator a message. This principle also comes from Consulting Accelerator, and it's also one of the most powerful things I learned from the program. The principle is success isn't about being talented or skilled. It's just about hitting the numbers. Let me show you what I mean in practice. This is the exact system our clients inside Monetize use to track their shadow operating outreach efforts in business. It's what's known as a customer relationship manager, or CRM for short. And listen, if you don't know, I also own one of the main CRM tools that people use to track their outreach and organize their entire shadow operating business. The software is called Flowzy, which means I can literally see the back-end numbers of what people are, need to hit in outreach in order to sign partnerships. As I said, I have real data from real people doing this in real time. And after tracking over 20,000 outreach messages sent across dozens of industries, here's what the data shows us. On average, for every 100 messages you send, you get 10 to 15 responses. That gets 5 to 10 game plans reviewed by the creators, so half of the ones that you send to, which leads to about 1 to 2 partnerships closed, around 20 to 25 of the creators who you send the game plan to. This is consistent. It's not skills, it is math. Okay, so your job isn't to hope it works. Your job isn't to be extremely skilled. Your job isn't to get lucky. Okay, your job is to send 100 messages and let the math do its thing. So the big question here is, are you willing to send 100 messages to get your first shadow operating partnership? Or screw it. Let's say you do everything wrong and it takes you 5 times more messages on average to close your first creator. So 500 messages. Even in that case, are you willing to send 500 messages to get one partnership that has the potential to completely change your financial situation? Most people won't, and that's why most people fail. But if you do, your likelihood of success is extremely high. Your odds of making this a full-time income are extremely real. Now, here's why this is so important, and this is where most people fuck it up. When you are at message 53 with no partnership yet, you're feeling discouraged, and you can look at your track and see, I've sent 53 messages. I've got 5 responses. I sent 1 game plan. You know you're on track. You are not failing. You are just at message 53. All you have to do is just keep going and let the math work, okay? I want you to think about it this way. If you flip a coin, you have a 50% chance of heads. If you flip it 100 times, the odds that you hit that you never hit heads are basically 0, okay? Just like here, as long as you follow the outreach principles I'm laying out, the chances of reaching out to 100 creators and not getting a response is virtually 0. So, knowing that your skill level doesn't define your success here, are you willing to do what it takes to hit the numbers to close your first shadow operating partnership? If so, let's talk about how to actually find and reach out to creators. But before I show you the exact message template, I need to teach you the most important principle of outreach, okay? This is another principle that completely changed the way that I viewed outreach. This is partnership principle number 3, lead with value, not the ask. Let me tell you a quick story. A few weeks ago, my head of student success, Andres, was working with a client of ours at Monetize who was doing outreach for his shadow operating business. Smart guy, already had partnerships, years of corporate experience, all the elements that you expect from someone who's going to be insanely successful with outreach. Then he started reaching out to micro creators and got nothing. So Andres asked him, show me what you're sending. He pulls up his message. Hi, I'm a business consultant. Would you like to discuss how I can help grow your company? Right away, of course, Andres pointed out, look, that is your problem. You're asking for something instead of giving something. And here's what was happening. When you reach out cold and immediately ask them to discuss or hop on a call, you're asking them to give you your time. Okay, time is the most valuable thing that anyone has. We are all busy. So imagine if someone you don't know simply opened a conversation with you asking for your time. Okay, what would you think? Who is this? Why should I give them my time? It is instant rejection. It sounds obvious when I put it like this, but this is the mistake that most people make in shadow operating. They are reaching out saying, hey, want a partner? Can we discuss a business opportunity? Would you be open to a call? Do not do that, okay? Every single one is asking the creator, every single one of those is asking the creator to give. So you're gonna get ignored every time, just like you ignore people who reach out to you in the same way. Here is what changed everything for this client. Instead of asking for a call, Andres told him to give him something valuable instead, something that they could use. So he started creating monetization game plans exactly as you learned how to do yesterday. Then he would open up the conversation with permission-based message such as, have you ever thought about packaging what you teach into something that people would pay for? And after he got the response, he would say, well, I've put together 3 ways you could package your content into a digital product that your followers would pay for. Would you like me to send you a full breakdown? Response rate went from 0 to 3 to 4 yeses a day. Why? Because he was giving first, not asking. When they saw the monetization game plan, they were so impressed that closing a partnership became easy after that. That is exactly how shadow operating works. You are giving them something valuable, something that they can either use when they work with you or not, okay? And when they see that you've analyzed their content, you've identified the problems they're consistently thinking about, monetization, and you've proposed a solution that solves their problem with inconsistent income and even projected potential profit numbers, they're already 80% convinced. But if you lead asking for the time, like, hey, would you like to hop on a call? You're dead in the water, okay? That is partnership principle number 3, always lead with value. So are we in agreement here that when you start reaching out to creators, you're always going to lead with value? If you understand that and you commit to always reaching out first with value, I want you to go ahead and drop the hashtag shadow operator, or with a hashtag or no hashtag, go ahead and drop shadow operator in the comments so that way I can see that you guys are following along. And with that being said, I'll have a little swig of water. All right. Lovely. Look, a lot of people get intimidated and think that these creators are above them in some way, shape, form, or fashion just because they have a tiny little following. So let me put something into perspective for you guys, okay? There are 78 million content creators out there just on Instagram alone, okay? Micro creators, the ones we're targeting here, there are 41 million of them. All of them need monetization. And you just need one yes, okay? That's it, just one yes. So let's be honest here. Even if you do everything wrong, do you think that it's unlikely that 1 in 41 million creators would say yes to your shadow operating proposal? I don't think so, right? You need one person in a crowd the size of half of Germany to say yes. Imagine the ocean has 41 million fish. You don't need to catch them all, my friend. You don't even need to be good at fishing. You just need to catch one fish once. Now, how many shadow operators do you know that you can partner with? Okay, probably not that many. There might be what, a few thousand out there, if even that. Okay, even if we take everyone who's watching this live right now, okay, the tens of thousands of people who are watching right now, and all of you become shadow operators. In total, okay, that would be 50,000 shadow operators, okay? Let me check how many we got live right now. Pull up the accurate number. All right, so from the 17,000 we got on here, okay, that would be 17,000 shadow operators, okay? The supply to demand curve is insane, okay? There is simply far more demand than there is supply. Okay? There are tens of millions of creators who need monetization, but only a few thousand shadow operators to fulfill that demand. So when you look at this, who do you think holds the power in this relationship? The creators or the shadow operator? Who needs who more? Okay, can we agree that the creators need the shadow operators way more than the shadow operators need the creators? Because as a shadow operator, you get to choose which creators you want to work with. You can just open Instagram and find hundreds of creators in a matter of minutes. Now the creator, they don't have an app like Instagram that they can just open and find hundreds of shadow operators to work with them. That is why I receive messages like this every single day from creators with 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 followers and more, because as a shadow operator, you possess an extremely rare and valuable power to turn something that these creators already have, a following, into money. So if there's someone who's above you, who's above in this relationship, that person is actually you. At the end of the day, it's all about perspective. Most people do the best that they know. So they think about it, okay? They think about it and they go, what does the creator know? They know how to create content or how to gather an audience. They know that posting content is a lot of work, and they know that I can sell brand sponsorships. They also know that sponsors only show up once in a while, okay? And that's not a reliable source of income. So they're thinking, I need to find another way to make more money with this, and I need to do it quickly. Otherwise, I don't know how long I'll be able to keep posting because this is not sustainable. They're doing the best that they can when it comes to monetization. They just don't know any better. Now you do, because here is what you know. You know micro creators with audiences are an untapped gold mine. You know you know that there's a replicable and a very straightforward way to turn followers into money in their bank account. You know the best way to monetize an audience is not through brand sponsorships, but rather through digital products. You know these digital products can be created super quickly, all in 1 or 2 days when you use specialized AI. And you know that in 14 days, you can launch this digital product to the creator's audience and get them hyped to buy it just using Instagram stories. And more importantly, you know how to use specialized AI to do all of the work for you. So that way, when you realize that you know all these things, and that you know that it can all be done with specialized AI, while the creators knows none of this and they don't have access to the tools. Doesn't it make sense that you have the exact solution to the problems that they have? It's as if they have the lock and you have the keys. When you have the keys, you don't need to understand how a lock mechanism works or how to pick a lock manually. You just use the key and the lock opens. And that is what I want you to understand here. So if you want to close your first partnership in the first month with this model, here is exactly what the next 30 days should look like. From finding the creator to closing the partnership. Days 1 to 2, here's what you're going to do. You're going to use the perfect storm framework to find your unique niche, the combination of industries you know the market needs, the right AI to get all the work done for you without having to actually develop the skills. Day 3 to 4, you're going to find 100 micro creators, and you know exactly how to do that. You're going to go to Instagram, you search for your niche plus a content related keyword, so just tips or how to. Then from the results, you're going to find creators with 10 to 100,000 followers who don't have their own digital product yet and are simply living off of brand sponsorships. You're then going to list 100 of them, okay, inside of your CRM. For that, you will never have to pay for a CRM. Otherwise, you won't actually have a way to track your outreaches that we talked about. Then on days 5 to 7, you're going to start sending your initial outreach messages, and you're going to do it using the permission-based outreach messages. Inside of Monetize, our clients use 50 different variations of this. It should take you around 5 minutes per message. So to send 100 messages, that will take you about 8 hours. So in total, if you're doing this the most manual way possible, this entire process will take you anywhere from 14 to 16 hours in the first week. Is it time consuming? Yes. Okay. Now, if you know this has the potential to completely change your financial life with one single yes out of those 100 messages, do you think that you can find 16 hours in your week in order to do this? Even if it's after work or during the weekends, I'm sure you can. Now, here's what your week 2 is going to look like. At this point, you're going to start getting replies to your initial outreach messages. That will basically be creators interested in the game plan you mentioned. Now, because we're smart here, we haven't developed the game plan yet because we know, what we're going to do instead is we're only going to develop the game plan for the creators who actually requested and are actually interested, okay? This way, we don't waste a bunch of our time developing dozens of game plans that no one will look at. That is working smarter, not harder. So that way, from days 7 to 14, we're going to be doing 2 things simultaneously as the replies start coming in. Whenever you get a reply, you're going to develop the game plan for the creator. How do you do that? Exactly as I showed you in episode 1. If you want to do it manually, you're going to have to manually come up with the audit, the opportunity, the numbers, the product suggestions, the launch strategy, the tease, and the testing sequence, which again, would take a bunch of time for you to develop the skills in order to do that. So if you want to do this manually on top of the learning curve, it could take 3 to 4 hours per creator because you have to watch the content, take notes, identify patterns, write the copy, do the math, and format things nicely. That's a lot of work, okay? So here's where the specialized AI does all of the heavy lifting for you. It is as simple as pasting the links to the Instagram of the creator into the specialized AI tool and filling out some very basic information like the number of followers and engagement rate. And voila, that's it. Just click a few buttons, okay? Then all you have to do is click generate and you will get the entire game plan developed for you. Here are a few examples of what these game plans look like from clients of ours at Monetize who took advantage of the specialized AI tools that come with the done for you approach. So that's week 2. Week 3, very simple. If you remember back from yesterday's episode, a key part of the game plan is that we send a demand testing story for the creator to post. It's basically a sequence of 3 stories they can post saying that they are considering launching this digital product and asking their audience to reply if they would be interested in it. And usually what happens, they get dozens, if not hundreds of replies. Their audience says, yes, please, I would be super interested in that. Do you have a release date yet? Take my money. That's exactly what I've been looking for. And every single reply feels like a cash machine ringing with a sale for them. So that way, when they experience that, they have no option but to reply to you because they now see with their own eyes that you have the solution they've been desperately looking for, a way to monetize their audience consistently without depending on sponsors. So that way, when you start getting your first few positive responses to your game plan, all you need to do now is explain the partnership terms to the creator. Now, there are 4 main points that we're going to hit here. What you handle on your side, so that is developing the 14-day story sequence, sending all the text for each one of the stories for the creator to post, helping with the right product packaging, and developing the overall outline for the creator. Again, you're going to get all this done for you with specialized AI. And then you're going to set the product up on WAP, which takes about 5 minutes to do or so. This way, the product gets delivered automatically whenever anyone buys it. All of which, as I said, specialized AI takes care of this. Then you're going to discuss what the creator will handle on their side. That's very simple. Posting the Instagram stories with the exact text you send them. And that's all about the responsibilities they have on their side. It's really not that many, right? And that's why it's so easy for them to say yes to this because they barely have to do anything to make money here. Number 3 is to agree on the timelines. And the timelines here are super simple. The first thing you do is develop the outline, which will take you a few minutes. Then you need to generate the 14 days of Instagram story sequences, which again takes 14 clicks. You just go through this process you're seeing here on screen for each one of the days. You can get it done in a few hours. But let's even say you're doing everything super slow, taking your time, and it takes you a full day to develop the product outline and another full day to develop the story sequences. That's 2 days of work. After that, that is all that is needed in order to post one story sequence for the next 14 days. So really, from the moment you sign a partnership, it takes you 2 days to get everything right and start posting the story sequences. And the story sequences take 14 days. So really, the timeline here is 16 days. But if you want to be conservative with your promises for the creator, 16 days is a bit over 2 weeks. So let's call it 4 weeks then, from 16 to 28 days. That's your timeline. The final thing you agree upon is the revenue split between you and the creator. And here, there's no right or wrong, okay? My recommendation, be very conservative with it on your first time doing it. I recommend a 70 to 30 split. You keep 30% of the revenue, the creator keeps 70%. You do most of the work, the creator keeps most of the money, okay? It's hard not to say no to that proposal. If you take the example from Kim again, you can see he had a 40% split with the creator. He let the creator keep most of the money, and that's what you should do as well. And with that, you will have all of your partnership terms agreed upon. This is super simple. Most people overcomplicate it. They try to push for a percentage that's a bit too high, which then causes resistance. And then they end up losing potential partnership. There is no reason to do that when you're first starting out. So my advice is this: just don't add obstacles on your way, okay? Keep it simple. So that way, can you see how offering the creator to keep 70% of the entire earnings while you do most of the work makes the proposal virtually impossible to refuse, especially when they are currently making zero from their audience and you are offering to create a new revenue stream from scratch. So once you have all of that in place, week 4 becomes all about kicking off your first shadow operating job and starting to collect cash. And here, you already know exactly what to do. Develop the product outline using specialized AI, generate the 14-day story sequence, also once again with specialized AI, so that way you don't have to write a single word yourself. Send the sequences for the creator to post. If you had the right AI tools to take care of all of that, don't you think you could handle it? When you execute this process correctly, you should be able to close your first shadow operating partnership in the next 30 to 60 days. And then if you want to keep repeating this process, you can realistically get 1 to 2 new shadow operating partnerships per month. If each partnership generates 20,000, well, then that's 20 to 40,000 in new revenue each month. That is 6 figures a year on the low end, and you can scale to millions on the higher end. And you can choose whether you want one shadow operating partnership or if you want to grow from there, okay? To make this much in a regular job takes a lot of qualifications, decades of work, and slave-like hours. Now, when you're a shadow operator, 6 figures a year is the norm. The reality is there's unprecedented demand for shadow operating in 2026. Apologies, I'm getting so excited about this stuff. And there's simply not enough people to fulfill such a demand. So if you ever want to be early for something big, trust me, this is it. And now is the perfect time to take advantage of this at the very beginning of 2026. Now, you've only still seen a tiny fraction of the success that people are having with shadow operating. There are tens of thousands of creators making significant income from digital products on WAP, and millions of creators who haven't yet monetized their audience with this. And that is how you know this stuff works. It will work for you. After all, it worked for Kim to make $2,800 in the first week of January, for Ted to make $20,000 as a shadow operator from his first client just 12 months ago while he was still in college, for me to make $20,000 in 3 days from a single creator partnership back when I was first starting out in 2018, for Jason, who built an entire career based off of this model, for our clients to earn 15 million in the last 90-day period inside of Monetize Mania, for the competition, for regular everyday people to earn over 1 billion with digital products on WAP in just the last 6 months. And I could keep going on for ages. So can you see how you are only one shadow operating partnership away from the life that you have always dreamed of? Well, if you understand, I'm very happy. And if you understand, then I think truly 2026 not only can be, but will be the greatest year of your life, okay? And I hope at this point you understand how having the right specialized AI tools is the key to launching that one profitable partnership. So are you getting excited about the idea of finally making real income from an online business? And wouldn't you agree that having right now is the best time to take advantage of specialized AI to actually partner with these creators? So that's why I created the done for you approach, where you get all the steps of the process done for you using specialized AI, and you count on the help of my own internal team. Everything I just showed you, the niche selection framework, the outreach sequence, the Dream 100 strategy, All of it comes from Consulting Accelerator, the legendary program that helped over 40,000 people start an online business and generated almost 80 million in sales. I went through Consulting Accelerator myself years ago, and honestly, it changed the way I think about business. The frameworks in that program, particularly around niche selection, positioning, client acquisition, they apply to any business that you are partnering with. And that is exactly what shadow operating is. You're essentially consulting for creators. So instead of having to do consulting work based on knowledge and experience, instead, you're doing it by taking advantage of specialized AI to do the work for you. One of the principles I learned in Consulting Accelerator was don't reinvent the wheel, find proven systems and adapt them. And that's exactly what I'm giving you, the proven systems that I have adapted. I took the proven Consulting Accelerator frameworks, combined them with specialized AI tools, applied them to the industry with the biggest gap between supply and demand, and created a done-for-you system where you don't have to find creators yourself, where you have the specialized AI tool that does all of the heavy lifting for you, where you get access to proven systems and frameworks. So if you are interested in having this done-for-you system, I have something very special for you. And by the way, it involves Consulting Accelerator itself. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you the latest version of Monetize, starting with a special bonus that you will only get here today during this live session. That is full access to Consulting Accelerator, okay? Now, let me tell you the story of how this even became possible. About a year ago, I acquired Consulting Accelerator, including all of its intellectual property, consulting.com, including all of its intellectual property. I paid $1.7 million out of my own pocket to get access to this. Now, I don't think there's any program out there that's made as many people quit their jobs and reach 6 and 7 figures as this program. And it became legendary in the online business space. This program helped people like Andrew Argue scale to $900,000 a month in the accounting niche. Hunter scaled to 6 figures a month in the porn addiction with porn addiction consulting. Brittany grew to $30,000 a month in the binge eating niche, and literally thousands of other people start 6 and 7 figure consulting businesses. The program originally sold for almost $2,000. Over 20,000 people paid that price. I was one of them. And just like it helped me when I was starting out, I wanted to help you as well. When I acquired the company, including all of its intellectual property, I knew that I couldn't just let it disappear. This program changed too many lives. So I'm making it a part of Monetize, not as an upsell, not as an add-on, but as a free gift and as a free bonus for everyone who joins today. So when you join Monetize, here is what you are going to get on top of Consulting Accelerator. Let me show you why this is a truly done-for-you solution. The entire session today was about finding the right creators. And you can see that although this is a straightforward process, it takes time. It's overwhelming, okay? It's very time-consuming. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. They choose the wrong creators to approach in the first place. And then it doesn't matter if you do everything right after. If you get this first step wrong, the whole process fails. So what if you didn't have to do all this work yourself to filter out the wrong creators? What if instead you already had a unique pre-vetted list of micro creators that you already had access to, so that way you could skip this whole trial and error process? Well, that is what me and my team set out ourselves to put together for you, for the people who join Monetize. My team and I are doing the first step for you. We are manually sourcing 100 creators for you, compiling them in a list, loading them straight up into your CRM, so that way there's literally zero work for you, okay? And as we've seen here together, 100 is our magic number. If you reach out to 100 of the right creators with the right approach, your likelihood of closing your first shadow operating partnership is incredibly high. So that is what you're getting today. This first step, it is done for you already. When you realize what we're doing here with this first step is manually vetting and compiling 100 pre-qualified creators directly into your CRM, doesn't that eliminate the biggest barrier between you and closing your first partnership? Well, that leads us directly to the next software that you get inside Monetize, because you might be asking, where am I going to get this list? Or am I going to get a text file with just a bunch of names and email inside? No, of course not. We have you covered in this episode, okay? Making this work, not about the skills. It's about simply hitting the numbers. And to hit the numbers, you have to have the right CRM that allows you to do this. That allows you basically to compile all of your micro creators and track if you've reached out to them already, okay? If they've replied to you, how many game plans you've developed, and so on. Because what gets measured gets improved. That's 80% of success here. Now, building a system like this yourself gets super messy super quickly, especially if you're trying to do it on a spreadsheet. It's just not where you should be spending your time as a shadow operator. Now, on the other hand, buying a CRM can get very expensive. If you look at the most popular ones out there like Salesforce, we're talking about $1,000 a year just for the most basic plan. And to be honest, it comes with a steep learning curve. There's too many features that you don't need and will never use. It's just overwhelming for something that should be simple and intuitive. That's precisely why a few years ago, I co-founded Flozy. I should say 5 years ago at this point, an internal CRM for our service-based business to run their entire operations. And to date, we've had over 50,000 businesses using our CRM, and we've closed over 35 million in revenue through it. Usually, users pay over $1,000 a year to access Flowzy, but today inside Monetize, you get a 1-year license to it at no extra cost. And not only that, but your 100 CRM will come, your CRM will come pre-filled with 100 leads that I just mentioned. Can you now understand how having this entire operational infrastructure already built out for you can and means that you can focus 100% of your time on outreach and partnerships instead of wrestling with spreadsheets or learning complicated software? If so, let's talk about these specialized AI tools, starting with Ghostwriter, the specialized AI that gets you basically past the most time-consuming and difficult part of this whole process and make sure that it is done for you, okay? In just a matter of clicks. The two main assets we need to create here as a shadow operator are the monetization game plan and the 14-day story sequence. Now, historically, being able to create assets like this would require you to develop skills such as copywriting and marketing strategy, which takes hundreds and hundreds of hours to learn. That is what I had to go through. That is what Jason had to go through. And that's why this industry, the shadow operating business, usually in the past was extremely difficult for beginners to get into. Look, before specialized AI, I was actually very vocal against beginners doing this, okay? Because I didn't want you to have to spend months and months or years learning and failing before you start making money. And it's because of the insane advancements in AI, the tools like Ghostwriter OS now allow you to skip this entire learning curve because they do the work for you. The monetization game plan, the 14-day story sequence, that is now just a matter of a few clicks and the AI develops everything for you. It does everything, okay? You don't even need to trust yourself. You just trust the software. With better quality than 99% of the specialized copywriters out there. How insane is that? Isn't it incredible that what used to take months and months to learn can now be done in minutes with AI? You see, Ghostwriter OS is a collection of specialized AI agents that write everything for you. Just so you understand, this is not a small tool, okay? This is a full-blown suite, okay? This is an established company with over 12,000 paying customers from over 24 countries. They are actually one of the few startups that got accepted into the Startup Accelerator program from Google, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Amazon, which is why it is one of the very few specialized AI tools that gives you access to what is known as zero prompt agents. You know, look, when you go to these $20 a month generic AIs, you have to fully prompt it out, okay? The problem with that is for you to get the AI to produce a monetization game plan or a 14-day story sequence at this level, at the level, I should say, that has the potential to generate tens of thousands of dollars for your shadow operating partnership, the prompt itself would need to be truly a masterpiece. It would take you weeks, sometimes even months of trial and error to dial it in. You would need to be a seasoned expert to pull it off. For you to get a good output, you would need to train what we call an agent with hundreds of gigabytes of data. And then you're going to need to give it a very lengthy and detailed prompt. So that way it understands exactly what makes a good script. Inside a Ghostwriter, you don't need to give it any prompt, okay? Because someone has already spent an ungodly amount of time developing and fine-tuning the prompts behind each agent. And not just anyone, okay? But the top experts in the world who have made millions from their own digital products. Someone who's tested hundreds of variations and refined this prompt based on real results from real customers buying real products. And that's why I say this is truly a done-for-you solution. Okay, with this done-for-you approach, you don't need to trust yourself. All you need to do is trust the software. Now, the step where a lot of people get confused in this process is actually product development. They ask, but how am I supposed to create a product for the creator if I don't know anything about the topic? You're not supposed to, okay? That is why I created Synthesize. It is the world's most powerful digital product creation engine. Synthesize AI works like a black box machine where you click a few buttons on one side, you get a ready-to-launch digital product generated for you on the other side. It's like a printer that prints winning digital products using specialized AI. What we do here is very simple. We take what Ghostwriter already created for us, we feed all of that info into Synthesize, we let it repackage this content into a ready-to-launch digital product based on the content that they already created in a format that's organized, easy to consume, and actionable for their audience. And you get 20 plus digital product options to pick from. All of that within 40 minutes. You see, Synthesize AI is a software that I've been developing myself for this exact purpose, helping me develop my own digital products for over a year now. It's currently on its 4.0 version. And back when we launched the beta test, our 1.0 version, I decided to put it to test without anyone knowing. The result? I created a product that generated me over $370,000 from 90 minutes of work. More than 13,000 people purchased it. That's more than most people make in a year. Do you think that you can find 90 minutes in your week to create a product for a creator with the potential to generate you more money than most people make in an entire year? And that our users are already taking advantage of to create wildly profitable digital products for creators from zero, even with zero previous experience. Look, last time we opened Monetize last year, the users who joined went on to make $15 million in the first 90 days. And lots of them created their products using Synthesize AI. So I'm sure you can understand why Synthesize AI 4.0 is listed at $2,999, especially when you consider the huge costs that come with running this sort of high demand task with AI. And you get it at no extra cost when you enroll in Monetize today. When you realize that creators have already created all of the content and knowledge needed, and Synthesize simply organizes it into an easy to consume, actionable format that their audience will pay for. Doesn't that remove the single biggest mental barrier stopping people from actually becoming shadow operators? So you now know this entire 4-step shadow operating system that I've been talking about. Well, I've actually recorded the entire implementation training, every single detail, every click, every strategy, from complete beginner, closing your first shadow operating partnership, to your first sale, to scaling to tens of thousands per month. You will watch over my shoulder as I build actual digital products. You're gonna see every mistake, every shortcut I take, every breakthrough, everything that separates winners from everyone else. Think of it as having me basically as your own personal trainer. But instead of building muscle, we are building your financial freedom. Most business coaches charge $5,000 just for a basic course outline, but you are getting the complete implementation system that's generating millions in real results at no extra cost. Can you imagine the relief of never having to wonder what is the next step? Because every single move is mapped out for you. With this, the question isn't whether you can figure this out, it's whether you can follow simple instructions. That is the type of unfair advantage I'm referring to when I talk about giving you a proven system. Now, I know a lot of you guys would love to have some sort of credentials to show these creators. This way you can have third-party proof that you're qualified to do the job. And something like that can increase your authority by 10x in the eyes of these people. So I thought to myself, what could I actually give you to increase your authority to the highest level possible here? So I had this idea. You see, as you already know, I own consulting.com, which is the most successful consulting firm in the digital product and shadow operating space. So I've decided to create a consulting certificate that recognizes you as a consulting.com qualified shadow operator. This way, you can tell creators when you're reaching out to them that you are officially qualified on this method, and that everything you'll implement is based on the methodology taught by the #1 consulting firm in the world when it comes to digital products. Do you understand how this instantly positions you as a qualified professional rather than just another person with an idea? And how with this certification, the question of why should I trust you to do this will never be a problem for you ever again. Like, can you actually understand and imagine how much easier it's going to be your conversation when you can lead with, I am a consultant.com certified AI shadow operator, instead of trying to convince them from scratch that you know what you're doing. So look, that's another perk that you get for free inside Monetize as soon as you complete our entire program. Now, to light a fire under your ass and give you an even bigger reason to take action on becoming a shadow operator, I'm giving you a golden ticket to our 3rd edition of our Monetize Mania competition. Here is how it works. Starting tomorrow, we're kicking off a 90-day competition between you and everyone else who's joined Monetize. From 90 days from now, the 5 individuals who finish top will get a complimentary seat at the consultant.com Quantum Mastermind. That is our exclusive mastermind experience that clients usually pay $25,000 to join, okay? We throw some insane experiences. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on these immersion experiences and these masterminds. And as I said, people in the room are making $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 a month from their shadow operating business. And you will get to personally network. You're going to personally meet all these people as well as myself and the rest of the team. How insane of an opportunity would that be for you to be able to sit in the same room as the top shadow operators in the world today? That is an opportunity you get when you join Monetize today with the ticket. So let me remind you, and let's go ahead and break down again everything you get. First, you get our 4-step system to get your first creator partnership launched and completely done for you using AI. Then you get our special webinar-only bonus consulting accelerator, which tens of thousands of people already paid $2,000 to access. I paid $1.7 million out of pocket to make this available to you at no extra cost. You get 100 pre-vetted creators preloaded into your Flowzy account, so that way you can start reaching out to them today already. You get Ghostwriter OS, the specialized AI with promptless agents to execute your entire 14-day story sequence and create the ultimate monetization game plan for the creators you reach out to. You get the shadow operating playbook with a step-by-step walkthrough on this on how to actually get into this opportunity starting from scratch, as well as the 17 monetization methods that we personally employ at consulting.com. Then you get unlimited access to Synthesize AI, the tool that will develop your digital product for your creator. You're going to get your consulting certificate that officially recognizes you as a consulting.com operator. You're going to get the golden ticket to Monetize Mania to win a seat in the same room as some shadow operators making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, all backed by our win with you until you 10x your investment guarantee. More about this in just a minute. Last time I opened this, Monetize users generated $15 million, and the users who got a Proc Live averaged $60,000 in earnings. And the total price for this offer, just from the things, if you had to buy them separately, will cost you $8,561. Not to mention all of the other stuff that you couldn't even buy even if you wanted to. So at $5,000, this is an incredible deal, which is why it is an absolute no-brainer for you to sign up at a special price of $1,995. And yes, financing is available. In fact, it is the most flexible financing you will find anywhere. The only question is, are you ready to take advantage of this opportunity and become a shadow operator? So here's what happens next. In just a few moments, I'm going to drop the link for you to join in the comments. When I drop the link, you have a decision to make. You either take everything we've taken today and file it away as interesting information, or you go back to doing what you've always done, okay? Or the other option is you take action right now and take the first step to becoming a shadow operator in the next 90 days. The choice is yours. But remember, this exact offer with all of these insane bonuses will never be available ever again. So if you are ready to finally build an online income using AI without requiring you to put your face out there or have any previous experience, then click the link that I'm dropping in the live chat in 3, 2, 1, now. Now, in case you can't click it, just go to joiniman.com and it will take you to the same page. You're going to be redirected to a secure checkout page. You want to choose the payment option that makes the most sense to you. And let's start building and working on closing your first partnership today. Because in a few weeks from now, you could be launching your first creator and getting sales while everyone else is still trying to figure it out on their own. Now, on top of all of that, I want to offer you an insane guarantee to back this up. This is a better than money guarantee, okay? It is a work with you until you win guarantee. Here's how it works. You don't just get access to all of the tools and the systems. You get me and my team committed to working with you until you close your first creator partnership and make at least a 10x return on your investment. Not until you feel ready, not until you understand everything, until you actually land a creator and have a partnership that pays you and pays you well. If it takes 3 months, we're there. If it takes 6 months, we're there. If it takes a year, we are still there. Throughout this entire time, we keep giving you updates, new training, new support, new strategies, more done for you. Exactly like we've already done for our current users 3 times in the last year. Look, I just gave you my word. Now let me show you my actions, because what I have done for our monetized users, no one else in this industry can say they did. Recently, we discovered a new method to get digital products insanely fast, okay? We could have offered that as a $2,000 upsell for our current customers. And I know thousands of people would have taken it. But what did I do? I told you, I'm not going to keep charging you for updates until you succeed, okay? This is what we did. We hosted an entire 4-week workshop within the Monetize community, breaking down this method through a shit ton of live sessions completely for free. By the way, you even have the recordings when you join the community. Every single user who joined Monetize in January got the alpha version of Synthesize for $995. Since then, the software has undergone 2 complete overhauls. We've added dozens of new features that weren't even promised. The 2.0 version, the 3.0 version, which already made an entirely new software, and now the 4.0 version with all the shadow operating modules. And every single one of our original customers got the 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0 version for free. And the clients that we have are in awe that they got access to all this for free, because this is the exact same version that's listed for $2,999. They got all of this at no extra charge. Ghostwriter, I have to pay almost $100,000 per month to license it, okay? I pay per user, per seat. The original users of Monetize were not promised this, okay? I still gave access to all of them for free, and there were thousands of seats that I had to pay for. Then I created the Shadow Operator Playbook that was included in the original package that we launched, okay? Or sorry, I should say it wasn't included in the original package that we launched, okay? This was never included. I could have easily sold it for $1,500 like I've done tens of thousands of times with my previous programs. So what did I do instead? I gave it to all my monetized users for free. Then I acquired a company called Consulting.com. This is the previous offices in Manhattan. At the time I acquired it, the flagship program sold for almost $2,000. Over 20,000 customers had paid that amount for the program, okay? 690 million earned by students, 52 millionaires created out of it. I paid $1.7 million out of pocket to acquire this. Here's the receipt. Now, before I acquired it, they made roughly 80 million in sales, as in they pocketed almost 80 million from the program, okay? Do you know how many times I've sold this $2,000 program after the acquisition? 0. Instead, I gave it to all my customers for free. Just a few weeks ago, a few of my pro users had a 90-day consulting package that came to an end. So what did I do? I renewed the package for every single one of them that still hadn't 10x their investment for another 90 days, just to make sure that they were taken care of. And these are just a few recent examples. So when I say we work with you until you win, I mean it. And as I always say, what you need is the ability to create money on demand. The skill of turning a creator's audience into dollars, turning a creator's audience into dollars in your bank account. Because once you have that skill, once you've closed that first 25 to 50K partnership, all of your problems disappear. You are not worried about money anymore. You're not stuck in the 9 to 5 grind anymore if you don't want to. You get to make decisions from a place of abundance, not necessity. And that is worth infinitely more than $2,000. That is why the guarantee isn't get your money back if it doesn't work. The guarantee is we work with you until it does work, period. It is simple. You have to close your first creator partnership and 10x your investment, or we will keep working with you until you do. Because remember, with this business, you only need to get this right once. All it takes is one partnership to completely change your life situation, to achieve what I call your turning point. You see, from everything I've accomplished so far, what I'm proudest of is helping thousands of people start their online business and through that, achieve their turning point. That is the moment in time where the income from their online business surpasses their main income stream and covers all of their living expenses. Usually, whenever someone buys one of my digital products, they're in one of two situations. Either they're working a job or studying where they have little to no prospect of financial growth. They know that's not what they want to be doing, but they're stuck at that job or uni with responsibilities that stop them from quitting. Or they're already working in very well-paid jobs, sometimes self-employed or small business owners, and they're already making good money, but they simply can't enjoy the fruits of their labor as they wish because their work takes all of their time and they're stuck in that physical location. So the point here is this. In both circumstances, these people feel like someone else is controlling their lives. They feel trapped in a life controlled by others while watching their true potential slip away. And this turning point I mentioned is such a pivotal moment for them because when they achieve that, that is the moment they get to reclaim ownership of their lives. It's the moment they get to choose what they will do now. If they're going to fire their boss, if they're going to quit university, if they're going to stop responding to other people, they get to decide because they are now the ones in control. And there's nothing more liberating than experiencing this transformation in your own life. I experienced that myself when I was able to quit school, look my mom in the eyes and tell her, look, I got you, okay? You never need to worry again. And look, I truly believe that in 2026, the best and the fastest way to achieve your turning point is by becoming a shadow operator. And the last time I opened this opportunity, I helped thousands of regular everyday people achieve their turning point. And now I'm ready to do that again and create a legion of shadow operators. So, are you willing to join me on this mission to become a shadow operator and join me in building this legion of successful individuals who will achieve their turning point? So really, you have two options. Either you succeed and close your first creator partnership, or we keep working with you until you do. The only way to lose is by not giving it a try. In addition to that, your investment is also fully protected with a 7-day full refund policy, meaning if for any reason you don't like what you get inside Monetize, you have 7 days to get 100% of your money back. All you need to do is email support at Monetize and ask for a refund, and it will get processed with no questions asked within 48 hours. With this, I'm taking all the risk of our deal on me, okay? I couldn't be possibly taking on more risk on my side. You don't have any risk on your end today. By the way, if you have any issues checking out, our team is going to reach out to you within 5 minutes using the contact information you filled out on the checkout page. So please keep an eye out on your WhatsApp or SMS for that. So you are guaranteed to get your first creator partnership and 10x your investment, or we will keep working with you until you do, which means the only way this investment doesn't pay off is if you don't take action. And if finances are tight for you right now, get this. We have the best third-party financing for you the market has ever seen. Why? To make this accessible to anyone who is serious about changing their life. And because we process everything through WAP, we have data that most companies don't have. So we are able to offer financing plans that literally no one else can. We're talking about breaking this down into manageable payments that anyone can afford. You can check out the financing options in the checkout page or on the link pinned in live comments or at joiniman.com. In case you have any problems as you are checking out, as I said, keep an eye out on WhatsApp. My team will personally message you there and help you with any problems you might face, whether that's a card issue, financing, or simply figuring out if this is the best decision for you. It is essential that we get any of these problems sorted before the end of today's session. So to guarantee that you do not miss out on our insane bonus that's only available during today's live session Consulting Accelerator, as well as all of the other special bonuses that come with this done-for-you solution, as well as get the specialized AI tools that do 99% of the heavy lifting for you, as well as get the proven frameworks from Consulting Accelerator, get the templates, the scripts, the systems, get access to a legendary $2,000 program for free, and execute 10 times faster with 10 times better results. You need to decide now because the Consulting Accelerator bonus is only available until the end of today's live session. After we end today, it goes away. And honestly, I don't know if I can ever offer this again. This might be the last time we are doing this. So if you want the specialized AI tools, the complete shadow operating system, full access to Consulting Accelerator, plus all of the additional bonuses, I want you to click the link below right now. Join Monetize. Guys, I could keep going on for a long time, but we are over time already, and we have Jason here waiting to get into the Q&As. Plus, a couple of very incredible guests who might join us if time permits. So I want to leave you one last message here. Closing a single partnership is all you need, okay, to be able to decide what you work on, where you work from, when you work, or even if you want to work in the first place. No longer stress about money. Reclaim ownership of your life and be the one dictating the shots once again. You're only one partnership away from the life that you have always dreamed of. And now, with that being said, it is time to get into our Q&A. And with that, I'm bringing in Jason Fladlin, and let's get into the more informal part of today's session. Jason, thank you so much for joining us.
Iman, it's always a pleasure, my friend. And thank you to everybody for being here this long, because not everybody makes it, unfortunately.